It was supposed to be the happiest day of my year. The house smelled like fresh lilies, the same flowers my husband used to surprise me with when we were in love, or at least when I thought we were. Guests were arriving, laughter filled the air, and my mother-in-law was everywhere, giving orders like the queen she believed she was. I smiled politely, pretending not to notice the cold stares she kept throwing across the room. But I should have known. She never did anything without a reason. When she hugged me that evening and whispered, "Happy birthday, dear," her smile didn't reach her eyes. And then she handed me a perfectly wrapped gift box. Everyone turned to look. Cameras flashed. It was the moment she'd been waiting for. I opened the box and froze. Inside wasn't jewelry, not perfume, not even a card. It was a stack of papers, neatly folded. Divorce papers. The room went silent. My hands trembled as I lifted them. My husband didn't say a word. He just stood behind her, watching. And in that single moment I realized this was their plan. My birthday wasn't a celebration. It was a public execution. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Someone whispered, "Oh my God." My mother-in-law smirked. "We thought it would be kinder to tell you in front of everyone so you wouldn't make a scene later." My throat burned, but I didn't cry. I just stared at her, calm, steady, unreadable. Because if she wanted a show, she was going to get one. Just not the one she planned. I folded the papers back and smiled. "Thank you," I said softly. Her smile faltered for half a second. "Excuse me?" I stepped closer, my voice still calm. "I said thank you for finally setting me free." A few people in the crowd exchanged confused looks. She blinked, trying to regain control. "You'll regret this attitude when what?" I interrupted. "When I lose everything." "Don't worry. I already have." I walked away that night, barefoot, humiliated, and heartbroken, but not defeated. Because deep down, I knew this story wasn't over. Not by a long shot. For weeks, I disappeared. No calls. No messages. Everyone thought I'd broken down. But what they didn't know was that I was rebuilding. Quietly. Powerfully. You see, my husband and his mother had one weakness: greed. They loved money more than loyalty. And that gave me the key to their downfall. Before our marriage, my husband had convinced me to sign over part of my business shares for tax reasons. What he didn't realize was that my lawyer had recorded every transaction, every lie, every manipulation. And while they were busy planning my humiliation, I was preparing my comeback. 3 months later, my mother-in-law threw another lavish party, this time to celebrate her company's record profits. Everyone who had witnessed my humiliation was there again. Same mansion, same crowd. Only this time, I wasn't the broken wife. When I entered, every head turned. Black silk dress. Confident smile. Even the chandeliers seemed to shine brighter. My mother-in-law's jaw tightened. "You weren't invited," she hissed. I smiled sweetly. "I know. But I thought you'd like to see what freedom looks like." The murmurs began instantly. Cameras turned again. Déjà vu, only this time, the stage was mine. I walked to the center of the room, raised a glass, and said, "Before we celebrate profits, let's make sure they still belong to you." A hush fell. I turned to the big screen where a short video began to play. Recordings, emails, contracts, every secret they'd buried, every deal they'd hidden. Her empire wasn't hers anymore, it was mine. The look on her face? Absolutely priceless. Her fake smile cracked. My husband's face turned pale. People started whispering, phones flashing again, but this time for me. I didn't need revenge. I just needed truth. And in that moment, everyone saw it. I turned to her one last time. "You gifted me divorce papers on my birthday. So I thought I'd return the favor. I'm gifting you bankruptcy." Gasps. Silence. Power. The same 3 things she once used to destroy me now stood by my side. As I walked out, reporters were already calling it the sweetest revenge. But it wasn't revenge. It was justice wrapped in elegance. And for the first time, my birthday truly felt like a celebration. The party ended that night, but its echo didn't. By morning, The headlines had already taken over every screen. "Daughter-in-law outsmarts family empire" was everywhere. My phone buzzed without rest. Messages from people who once ignored me now wanted interviews, partnerships, even apologies. But I wasn't thinking about fame. I was thinking about peace. For years, my life had revolved around earning approval from a family that only tolerated me. Now I could finally breathe. Yet freedom felt strange at first, too quiet, almost heavy. The woman who had once broken me was now hiding behind closed curtains, and the man I'd loved was suddenly begging to talk. He showed up at my office 3 days later. His suit looked perfect, but his eyes were hollow. "You destroyed everything," he said. "No," I replied calmly. "You destroyed it the moment you let your mother treat me like property." He tried to reach for my hand, but I stepped back. "You should go," I said softly. "There's nothing left to discuss." For a moment he looked at me like the man I used to know, lost, desperate, ashamed. But that version of him was gone too. He turned and left, and with that, the last thread of my old life snapped. Weeks passed. Lawyers finalized the divorce. I signed the papers he once forced on me, but this time the ink didn't sting. My new company grew fast. Investors admired the way I handled crisis with grace. People called me the woman who turned humiliation into an empire. I smiled when I heard that, not because I liked the title, but because I'd finally earned it. Still, there was one unfinished chapter. My mother-in-law. Rumors said she'd lost nearly everything. Her company's reputation collapsed overnight. Partners withdrew, clients vanished, and the board voted her out. I should have felt triumphant, but instead, I felt empty. So one afternoon, I visited her old mansion. The gates were open, unguarded. Inside, she sat alone in the same chair where she once watched me crumble. Time had taken the sharpness out of her face. She looked smaller, quieter, almost fragile. She didn't look surprised to see me.
"You got what you wanted," she said.
I shook my head.
"No."
I wanted respect, but you only understood power. Her voice trembled. "Do you hate me?" I paused.
"No."
"I finally understand you. You are just afraid of losing control, of watching someone else win." She looked away, eyes glossy. "You're stronger than I ever was." "Maybe," I said softly, "but being strong shouldn't mean being cruel." For a long moment, neither of us spoke. The air between us felt heavy with everything we'd never said. Then I placed an envelope on the table. Inside was a deed, her house, cleared of all debt. She stared at it in disbelief.
"Why?"
"Because revenge ends where compassion begins," I said. "And I'm done carrying your bitterness." When I walked out, the sunset painted the sky in gold, like the universe itself was closing the chapter. That night, I celebrated my next birthday alone, in peace. No champagne, no grand party. Just quiet music and candles. But there was one surprise waiting, a small handwritten note delivered to my office the next morning. It was from her. "You taught me dignity. Thank you." I smiled, folded the note carefully, and placed it beside my desk. People think revenge is the sweetest feeling in the world. They're wrong. The sweetest feeling is walking away, without hate, without fear, with your head high. Because true power isn't about destroying someone else. It's about never letting them destroy the kindness inside you. And that was my real birthday gift. Never mistake silence for weakness. Some smiles hide the kind of strength that can quietly destroy every plan meant to break them.